All right, let's dive into a really big idea in the business world today, ethical marketing. We're going to explore how building a brand on pure trust isn't just some nice, fluffy add-on. It can actually be a company's most powerful, most valuable asset. So to get us started, I want to ask you something. Just take a second and think about the most honest ad you've ever come across. What was it? What about it made it feel, real? That gut feeling, that sense of genuine connection, that's the magic we're going to unpack today.
And that feeling of authenticity, it's not just a feeling anymore. It's a massive force in the market. We're now deep in the era of the values-based consumer. And I mean, just look at this data. In huge markets, from the US to the UK to China, we're talking about overwhelming majorities, 73 to 85% of people who are intentionally backing brands that reflect their own values. We're all voting with our wallets, and we're demanding a whole lot more than just a good product.
Okay, so this term ethical marketing gets thrown around all the time. But what does it actually mean? Before we get any deeper, let's make sure we're all on the same page.
So, at its core, ethical marketing is really about a double promise. It's not just about giving the customer a good deal or a great product. It's about doing all that while being fair, transparent, honest, and responsible, not just to the customer, but to society and the environment too. It's a huge shift from simply asking, what's in it for us, to asking, what's our total impact on the world?
And that whole definition really stands on these 4 pillars you see right here: fairness, transparency, honesty, and social responsibility. It is so important to see these not as trendy buzzwords to slap on a website, but as the actual active ingredients for building real, lasting trust with people. Okay, principles are awesome, but how do you actually put them to work? Let's give into a really practical toolkit you can use to see how any company, and I mean any company, stacks up.
So if you're familiar with the classic 4 Ps of marketing, product, price, place, promotion, think of this as the ethical remix. It's like version 2.0. It forces us to ask way tougher, more important questions. Is our product actually responsible? Is our price transparent? Is our place, how we sell and distribute, is it fair? And is our promotion genuinely honest? This is how you bake ethics right into the DNA of a strategy.
Now let's see how this all plays out in the real world. Because nothing makes these ideas clearer than putting 2 huge, well-known brands from the same industry side by side and seeing how differently they operate.
So, in one corner, you've got Patagonia, a brand that's pretty much the gold standard for authentic, ethical marketing. And in the other corner, you have H&M, a fast fashion giant that, despite having things like conscious collections, has found itself in hot water again and again for so-called greenwashing. With Patagonia, it's not just marketing fluff. The ethics are baked right into how they do business. They put their money where their mouth is, donating 1% of all sales, not just profits, to environmental groups. They even ran that legendary "Don't Buy This Jacket" ad, challenging the very idea of mindless consumerism. This is what consistency looks like. And then you have the other side of the coin. H&M's ethical claims often seem to clash with its fundamental business. I mean, it's one thing to promote a conscious collection, but it's another when your entire business model is built on fast fashion, an industry that's famously tough on the planet. And it's that giant gap between their words and their actions that gets people crying greenwashing.
And this brings us right to the biggest danger in this whole conversation: the greenwashing trap. This is what happens when ethics stops being a real value and becomes just a performance. Like a costume a brand puts on for a marketing campaign.
And the risks of just faking it, they are enormous. When people feel like they've been tricked, the backlash can be absolutely brutal. We're talking about boycotts, public outrage, and a level of distrust that can take a company years, maybe even decades to fix.
Let me give you a perfect, almost painful example of this. The beauty brand Innisfree put out a product with this label right on the front. "Hello, I'm Paper Bottle." And when you see that, you think, wow, that's amazing. Great innovation. Super eco-friendly, right?
Well, customers got curious. They started cutting the bottles open. And what did they find? A standard plastic bottle, just wrapped in a thin paper shell. The feeling wasn't just disappointment. It felt like a betrayal. The brand wasn't being honest. It was performing sustainability.
and that performance costs them an incredible amount of credibility.
Okay, so we've seen the principles, we've got the toolkit, and we've seen the major pitfalls. So now it's time to shift gears. It's time to go from just being a learner to being an analyst. How can you start using these ideas yourself?
From now on, whenever you're looking at a brand, just run it through this simple mental checklist. First, are they consistent? Do their values show up everywhere, not just in their ads? Second, are they transparent? Are they open about the good stuff and the messy stuff? And third, do they respect you, the customer, enough to just be honest? And hey, the goal isn't to find a perfect company. It's about spotting the ones that are genuinely trying. And real progress always starts with honesty.
So here's your challenge, and it leads directly into your Modulate assignment. It's time for you to become the analyst. I want you to pick a real company. Maybe it's a brand you love. Maybe it's one you're a little skeptical of. Apply the ideas from this explainer. Look for those 4 pillars. Use the ethical marketing mix. See if you can spot any of that greenwashing. The real learning, the aha moment, happens when you start digging in for yourself.
And as you're doing that analysis, I want you to keep this one final, crucial question in your mind. It's the question every single one of us should be asking, as consumers and as future business leaders. Is that brand you admire, or that company you might want to work for one day, are they actually living their values, or are they just selling them to you? That question right there, that's the difference between building real, lasting trust and just building temporary hype.